I think it's the same as it's been all year. We've talked about every game this year being our Super Bowl, and this is no other. So this is just the same as it's been since the beginning of the season.
Tournament time, the best of the year. For some, dreams become reality. Others see the door shut. Where else do 6 months become 40 minutes? And hope rests with every dribble. The stakes are simple: win or go home, survive or drive. Barry's three is good. Give and go from Charlton, step through, two-handed slam. Half-court heave, Rose gets it to go. Right arc Nowitzki, the three is good. Oham's the follow and the throwdown. Do anything to extend your season. Let the chips fall where they may, because in March, anything can happen. And with that, we welcome you inside Capital One Arena in our nation's capital. It's Thursday of the Atlantic 10 tournament, the second round, as Fordham, the 8th seed at 8-10, takes on George Mason at 7-9 in the 8-9 matchup. Hi again, everybody. Nick DeLuca, Ryan Gregware, our entire WFUV Sports crew. So happy you could spend this Thursday afternoon with us. Fordham enters the A-10 tournament as the 8th seed, 8-10 in conference play. Winners of 4 of their last 6 to close out the regular season, looking for their first A-10 quarterfinal appearance since 2007. At the beginning of the season, Kyle Neptune said the goal was to be the best team that they could be by the end of the year. Fordham has shown the growth down the stretch and now a chance to prove it in the winner-go-home second round of the A-10 tournament.
It's exactly what this team has preached. It wasn't about November for this team. It's about continuation throughout the year, how you can play. We've seen them down the stretch. They're playing their best basketball. That starts, Nick, with Chuba Ohems winning the A-10 Player of the Week, 20-plus points per game, 13 rebounds over that stretch, and 5 assists. He is the driving force for this team, and if Fordham wants to do anything in this tournament, it starts with him.
Ohems has been a big reason for that continued development. 20, 13, and 5 averaged over the last week of the season en route to the A-10 Player of the Week honors. The Fordham defense has found a ton of success. That includes the first meeting with George Mason back on February the 20th. Just 47 points allowed on 35% shooting. And while the performance will be tough to replicate, they'll need another strong effort today.
The blueprint is there for Fordham. You know how to play this team. George Mason this season, low 47 points, 35% from the floor, third lowest three-point mark of the season, 9 for 28. Fordham did exactly what they wanted to do. They let guys who hadn't proven themselves take shots down the stretch. They're going to have to replicate it because we know George Mason knows the game plan now, and there's no way they don't come out with more fire and anticipation.
The Rams offense struggled after losing Darius Quisenberry mid-season, but since he's returned, they have been much better in terms of rhythm. 76 points a game, shooting 43%, had been held under 57 points a game over the previous 6. So Fordham looking to continue that strong offensive output from the last week of the regular season in to postseason time. Had a chance to catch up with Kyle Neptune about the conclusion of the regular season and the mentality heading into March. Coach, you've stressed playing your best basketball at the end of the season. You win 4 of the last 6 down the stretch to finish 8-10 in conference. Do you feel like the team is hitting its stride at the right time heading into the tournament? Yeah,
I think we are definitely playing our best basketball. Finally have as much of our team as we've had for a while. We're as cohesive as we've been all year. And I'm really happy with where we are offensively. So, yeah, I think we're out there in our best basketball right now.
We've talked a lot about how much Chuba Ohems has meant to this team. 23 and 16 on senior day last Saturday on his way to A-10 Player of the Week, Comeback Player of the Year, and a second-team All-A-10 selection. How satisfying is it to see him recognized like that for all he's done this season?
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. He's put in a lot of work in the offseason. He's done everything on and off the court we've asked him to do all year, so he deserves those accolades.
Since Darius Quisenberry's return, like you mentioned, the offense has ticked up a bit, averaging 76 points a game. Beyond the scoring, how have you seen his presence open up the attack?
I think he gives other guys confidence, and the other teams pay so much attention to him that he gets other guys shots as well, even if he's not the one making the pass. So he's definitely a major piece of what we do.
Win or go home in the A-10 tournament begins today. What is the mindset for this team heading into this week?
I think it's the same as it's been all year. We've talked about every game this year being our Super Bowl, and this is no other. So this is just the same as it's been since the beginning of the season.
You take on George Mason this afternoon, held them to 47 in one of your best defensive efforts of the season on February the 20th. How do you use that effort to carry into another strong one today?
You know what? I mean, that game was, a couple weeks ago now? I don't know if that has much bearing on what's going to happen today. So this is a brand new game. We're going to have to go out and play harder and be more together than them to get this win. If we don't do that, we won't win. So it is what it is. We got to – I don't think that game has any bearing on what's going to happen today.
Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck today.
Thank you.
That Fordham head coach Kyle Neptune ahead of this one against George Mason. The Patriots back into the A-10 tournament, losers of 4 of 5 to close out the regular season. They feature a blend of size and shooting with one of the most experienced rosters in the country, relying on efficiency, ranking 43rd in effective field goal percentage. The long ball is shot a lot for these George Mason Patriots, 4th in the A-10 in attempts, 5th in three-point percentage. 4 Mason starters averaging double figures, 3 in the conference's top 15 in three-point shooting. And Mason's top weapon, the first team all-conference pick Josh Oduro.
And what makes George Mason so interesting, you're talking about how reliant they are on the 30. He's the one guy who doesn't take 3, so they're going to play it through their big men. Led the conference in scoring this year. Fordham did a great job on him last time out, just 9 points, 4 for 12. The focal point is him, and you have to keep your eyes on the perimeter.
Oduro, the only A-10 player in the top 10 in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, and blocks across the entire conference. George Mason wings, Deshaun Schwartz and Moorhead State transfer Devon Cooper have been heating up from outside for Mason, also relying on Devontae Gaines and Xavier Johnson, who had a season-high 19 points on a career-high 16 shot attempts. The first time around between these two teams. See if Fordham makes Johnson a more focal point of the offense again today. Tip away, Oham's into the backcourt, tipped around Schwartz, controls for George Mason, left to right, and we are underway in the Atlantic 10 tournament. George Mason, the green tops and bottoms against Fordham in the home whites as the higher seed. Straight on Devontae Gaines, the dump for Oduro, near block 15 to shoot, swiped by Rose, free throw line possession Mason. Right arc for Devon Cooper. To the left wing, it's Johnson, center of the paint slice. The floater, left rim off. Ohams secures the left block rebound.
We've talked about Xavier Johnson in that game. In the 4 games since, just 11 points on 3 for 15 shooting. So Fordham deciding to have him take the shots last time. We'll see how they come out here today.
Fordham averaging 76 points a game this past week since Darius Quisenberry's return. Straight on 3 rows. Back heel off. Oduro, the right block rebound. Xavier Johnson across the midline. George Mason, not a team that works with a ton of pace offensively. Left block dump, Oduro backing down. Near corner gains the 3. Back heel off, Simbila rips away the center of the paint board. A minute in, no score, Fordham and George Mason. Quisenberry backing down right of the lane. Guarded by Johnson to the right baseline. Fell over. Johnson diving. The flip to Gaines. It's a Fordham turnover. Devontae Gaines the push. Left arc, the give and go. Over the head pass, Oduro backing down Simbila, swatted away out through the baseline. Fordham possession after it grazed off the arm of Josh Oduro. Fordham's interior defense proving strong in the early going.
That's why Abdou Simbila is starting in this game. We saw just 8 minutes last time out, but his interior presence, if they're going to draw Ohams out to the perimeter, you're going to need Simbila inside, rising to the occasion there, getting the block.
This is a Mason offense that has struggled down the stretch. 5th overall in the A-10 in scoring in the regular season, but shot it below 40% in 3 of their last 5 games down the stretch, and shooting just 30% from long range in that span. Really struggled against the Fordham defense back on February the 20th, trying to turn that around as a sleeper headed in to this A-10 tournament. Possession poked away from Quisenberry out through the far sideline. It'll be Josh Colon-Navarro to reset the Fordham offense. No score. Minute and a half in, Fordham and George Mason. Colon-Navarro wheeling for Nowitzki, left arc. Stops A-10 stamp straight away. Quisenberry guarded by Deshaun Schwartz. Roaming right with 10 to shoot. Straight away Colon-Navarro directing traffic with 6 and with 5. Left of the lane drive. Fall away with the right. Well short. The loose ball taken by Devontae Gaines. Straightaway stop, near corner pass Johnson. The float inside Oduro, hesitation, off the glass, good, plus the foul. 2 minutes in, Josh Oduro gets it to fall, plus the contact. And the first team all A-10 selection has the first points of the afternoon for George Mason, 2-0, 2 minutes in.
And no Chuba Oems in the game. You see his presence missed right there. George Mason, they're going to make a ton of quick passes. They are going to do their best they can switching to get Oduro on mismatches inside, and he took advantage right there, hitting the bucket and getting the foul.
Oduro to the free throw line. The follow left rim and off, so it's a 2-point settle for Josh Oduro as Fordham goes into the front court, trailing 2-0. Straight away, Kyle Rose, left arc Charlton. Ball held above his head, defended by Johnson. Right arc Nowitzki, the 3. Front rim and off, and the weak side rebound taken by Deshaun Schwartz. 10th in the Atlantic 10 in scoring, 16 points a game. 18 over his last 4. Backing down Oduro, behind the back pass through the arms of Johnson, taken by Charlton on the baseline. Fordham looking for its first points today, approaching 3 minutes in, trailing 2-0. Float left block, Ohams, boxed out by Gaines, out through the baseline. It's a Fordham turnover. It seemed as though there was some contact. Ohams doesn't get the call.
And early in this game, you're seeing that George Mason defense. Fordham pretty uncomfortable. OAM's already coming out and back in. Establishing the game through him is going to be key for Fordham if they want to get it going on offense.
Left arc bounce for Johnson. Devon Cooper wheeling around. Defended by Colon-Navarro. Left arc Johnson the 3. Back heel off. Free throw line rebound secured by Rastik Nowitzki. Fordham has started 0 of 3 from the field. Turned it over a couple of times, trying to get the offense going. Over the head pass, straight on Ohams, guarded by Johnson. Left arc 3, Colon-Navarro. Front rim and off, center of the paint rebound for Josh Oduro. Fordham has started 0 of 4 from the field. Near corner pass, the 3. Free throw line rebound after the miss off of the backboard. Oduro the follow, offensive foul. It was Cooper taking the shot. Missed it well off the side of the backboard, and Oduro charging through the center of the paint turns it over.
And how about the defense from Rastik Nowitzki there? You know, we've talked about improving throughout the year. Well, his interior defense, Nick, one of the areas he's really blossomed as a player. 3 blocks last time out. He's taken multiple charges like he did right there.
George Mason 2, Fordham nothing. 16 and a half to go first half. Straight on Charlton, defended by Oduro. Ball held above his head. Left arc Ohams, defended by Gaines. Far corner kick Rose to the drive. Stop at the block. The straightaway pass Charlton tipped with 10 to shoot. Free throw line pull up. Banks it in. Antrell Charlton, the first points for Fordham. And the Rams have knotted it at 2, 4 minutes in. Charlton, the first points coming off the bench. As the last week, left arc 3 Gaines, back heel off. Ohams rises for the right block rebound. George Mason 1 of 6 to start it. Curling around Kyle Rose, left arc, defended by Deshaun Schwartz. Kyle Rose, 7 points a game over his last 5, and 9 in the first meeting with George Mason. Left arc stop, the dump inside, knocked away from Ohams out through the baseline. Fordham keeps it with 9 on the shot clock as we hit our first timeout of the afternoon. Slow shooting starts for both of these teams. George Mason has started 1 of 7 from the field. Fordham 1 of 5. You're listening to Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports. Rise and fire, right arc 3. Quisenberry knocks it down. Half court heave. Rose gets it to go. Charlton directing traffic. The float for Ohams, throws it down.
Fordham men's basketball is headed to D.C.
the Rams returned to the A-10 tournament in their first season under head coach Kyle Neptune. Join myself, Ryan Gregware, my partner Nick DeLuca, our on-site producer Mike Messina, and the entire WFUV Sports crew with tournament coverage for your Fordham Rams. Their exciting season comes to a close, live on 90.7 FM and YouTube.
Back here from Capital One Arena, George Mason and Fordham knotted at 2, 4.5 minutes into this one, and just like the first time around, a defensive battle shaping up early. George Mason has started 1 of 7 from the field. Fordham at 1 of 5. Mason hasn't scored in the last 2.5 minutes, and this is the game that Fordham wants to play.
Yeah, Fordham wants it to be as ugly as possible, and that's what this game has been. Neither team's really establishing any identity. George Mason pushing it, taking quick threes when they have opportunities. Fordham not sure what they want to do on offense, not really feeding OMs inside to kind of separate and space the floor. You get the feeling as these teams feel each other out, Nick, being in an ugly spot is where Fordham wants to keep it.
Chuba OMs averaging 15 and 11.5 on the regular season, 5th in the NCAA in rebounding, 11th in the A-10 in scoring, 23 points and 16 rebounds on senior day on Saturday. Earned him the A-10 Player of the Week, second team All-Atlantic 10 at the conclusion of the regular season, in addition to the A-10's most improved player. Oham's the first All-A-10 Ram in 6 years, and the first Ram to win most improved player since 2000. Feel like he has not been as involved as he needs to be in the first 4.5 minutes.
And you could tell, by the amount of accolades you just listed, he needs to get the ball as much as possible. It's been a year of Chuba OMs. There's no reason for Fordham in this game, in this tournament, should go away from what's been working all year.
George Mason on the other side trying to get the offense going. Their defense has been strong to start it, a place that they had struggled down the stretch, allowed 70 or more in 7 of the final 10, and in the final 4 regular season games allowed opponents to shoot 43%. So that has been off to a better start this afternoon for head coach Kim English in his first season, first appearance in the A-10 tournament. Near side 3, Quisenberry, right rim and off. Left block board for Xavier Johnson. Mason into the front court, stop at the free throw line. Johnson guarded by Ohams. Gains the flip straight away to Sean Schwartz. Back to the basket, Oduro on the right wing. 15 to shoot, guarded by Simbila. Backing down, draws the double team. Johnson right arc, right of the lane drive. Shut off by Ohams with 10 to shoot. Left arc push off, it's Cooper backing away. Straight on to 3 with 5. In and out, in the left block rebound for Josh Colon-Navarro and Fordham. Rams trying to get the offense in gear. Left arc Ohams backing down the defense from Gaines, who was in foul trouble in the first meeting between these two teams. Double team comes near corner, Colon-Navarro with 12 to shoot. Working on Oduro, the left baseline double team underneath the basket. The flip around, rejected away. Simbila the follow and the easy 2. Fordham takes its first lead of the afternoon, 4-2. 5.5 minutes in first half. Straight away, Devontae Gaines, Schwartz, the over-the-head possession. Shut off by Josh Colon-Navarro. Far corner, Cooper. Oduro straight away. The give and go, Schwartz. Stop on the far block. The fall away from 7 is good. Deshaun Schwartz, who had an A-10 low 9 points in the first meeting with Fordham, has been on fire recently, averaging 18 over the last 4. Knots it at 4, 6 minutes in. Quisenberry, head of the key jumper, back heel off. Mason, the weak side rebound. Johnson into the front court, pushing over Quisenberry. Offensive foul. Xavier Johnson, who Fordham appears to be content with allowing to handle the basketball and perhaps shoot it a bit in this first half. Turns it over, and Fordham and George Mason, knotted at 4, have started 2 and 9 from the field each.
Yeah, really nice body control there from Darius Quisenberry to keep this game uncomfortable, to take charges. Fordham has shown a willingness all season to put their body on the floor.
A combined 0 of 9 from long range. The team's trying to get the shooting going. A foot in front of the midline, Quisenberry, with 16 points last time out. Right arc, Charlton. The shovel for Quisenberry. Float for Oham's left block with 7 to shoot and 6. Leans in with the shoulder. Hesitation, swatted away. Gains the help out through the baseline with 5 to shoot. Fordham keeps it.
And you're seeing a really tight defense on Chuba Oham's, an instant double anytime he gets the ball. We saw there, he got by one defender, but because George Mason had the double, they're able to bring the help and block a shot away.
Left of the goal inbound with 5 to shoot. Charlton floats for Oham, center of the paint with 3 and with 2. The righty hook shot, back heel off. Kelly bats the rebound out through the baseline. George Washington possession.
And you get the feeling there, Kelly just getting to the spot a little bit late. Could have controlled the rebound, ball right in his grasp, but he slapped it, wasn't sure about the positioning. Fordham misses an opportunity to get a second chance bucket.
With the shooting poor, rebounding something to pay attention to. Mason 32nd in opponent offensive rebounding in the country. They have struggled recently, allowing 27 offensive boards in the last 2. Dump underneath, the float in. Easy 2 for Jamal Hartwell, averaging 5.5 minutes off the bench. Leads them in assist to turnover ratio, and Mason a 6-4 lead 7 minutes in first half.
And that's how you have to beat this Fordham defense, because in the half court, they're very strong, but if you push it quick, you make crisp passes inside. That's how you can get to them.
Far corner bounce, Oham's backing down on Odoro. Left of the lane, still yet to score today. Waist-high possession, curling Quisenberry up top. Right of the lane surge, knocked away. He falls to the floor, and a foul called on George Mason. Quisenberry dealing with that injury, falling hard to the deck with the contact coming as he attacked the basket. It's the first foul on George Mason. And Fordham will keep it with 20 on the shot clock. 12:40 to go first half. Mason 6, Fordham 4. Quisenberry will inbound it left to the goal. Bounce for Rose, far corner. Right arc float Charlton. Bounce Oham's intercepted. Schwartz and George Mason. Front court right. Gains the float for Odoro. Far corner past the 3. Back heel and off from Ronald Polite, the sophomore from Maryland. The weak side rebound Fordham. Charlton walks it into the front court. Rams have started 2 of 11. George Mason 3 of 11. Straight on Pat Kelly. Head of the key, Oham's working on Odoro. Leans in with the shoulder, flips it up, left short. Mason the weak side rebound, it's Johnson. Far corner pass, pushing, it's Hartwell. Extra pass gains, near corner 3. In and out, got some of the glass, and Oham's the right block rebound. Fordham, a scoring drought of 2.5 minutes, playing the defense, 1 of their last 7 from the field.
And George Mason now 0 for 7 from 3. They've gotten some good looks these last 2 possessions. Fordham may be choosing to let those guys get the looks as they have been unable to get the bucket. Up
top, Oham's to a curling Rose. Left baseline stop with 10 on the shot clock. Charlton's left arc 3 is good. Antrell Charlton hits the 3. And Charlton, who had not scored a ton down the stretch, has 5 of the Fordham 7 points in this first half. They lead at 7-6, 11-20 and ticking first half. Schwartz leaning in, fall away, lefty from 5. Kelly, the right block rebound after it rolls off back heel.
And Schwartz has shown the ability to take any shot, but that's one of those, fading with the hand in his face. You figure Fordham will let him take.
Charlton stop, right arc, ball fake Quisenberry, step through, straight on 3 Charlton. Right rim and off, Schwartz clears for the center of the paint rebound. Fordham 7, Mason 6. 9 minutes in first half. Schwartz stops right elbow. Rip away by Rose. A jump ball called. And the possession arrow is with Fordham, so they'll have possession on the other side of this timeout. A slow shooting start for both of these teams. Fordham 7, George Mason 6. Back to our Rose Hill studios, a one-on-one scoreboard with Tom Quigley.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Plenty of top 25 conference tournament action to get to this afternoon. We'll start in Brooklyn with the ACC tourney. Duke leading Syracuse 14-6 with 15:34 to play in the first. Sliding over to the Big East tournament, Providence leading the Butler Bulldogs 11-9 with 13:16 to go in the first half there. And a Texas showdown between the Longhorns and TCU in the Big 12 quarterfinal. That tips off at 12:30. Let's check on some results from last night. The 40th straight Big East tourney at the Mecca began yesterday with Butler taking down Xavier 89-82. The local squad St. Joe's took care of business over DePaul with a 92-73 final, and the Seton Hall Pirates eked out a 57-53 victory over the defending champion Georgetown Hoyas. Transitioning Burrows over to the ACC tournament at the Barclays Center. Syracuse with a blowout victory last night to begin their run, 96-57 over Florida State. Virginia narrowly snuck by Louisville with a 51-50 final score and a couple OT thrillers, resulting in an 82-77 win for BC over Wake Forest and a 76-75 comeback victory for Virginia Tech over the Clemson Tigers. And let's get to a few headlines around the world of sports, starting in football. The Washington Commanders are expected to release safety Landon Collins in a salary cap move. And in European football news, Neymar is reportedly in a heated dispute with Paris Saint-Germain following their 3-1 second leg loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16 yesterday. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Tom Quigley.
Thanks, Tom. Nick DeLuca, Ryan Gregware, our entire WFUV Sports crew here with you from Capital One Arena in our nation's capital. Fordham 7, George Mason 6, 10:48 to go in the first half. Rough shooting start for both of these teams. Mason 3 of 13, Fordham 3 of 14. And the Rams, with a lot of attention being paid to Chuba Ohams, needed someone to step up. So far, it's been Antrell Charlton.
Yeah, and he had a big three a few possessions ago. No identity with this team, able to drill that one. But for Fordham to be able to be successful in this one, right, you want to feed Chuba Ohams down low. You need to prove, Nick, that you can hit a three, because if not, they're going to bring the double, and he's not going to be able to do anything. So unless someone steps up from beyond the arc, it's going to be very hard to get this offense going the way they want to be.
And in the battle of the big men on the other side for George Mason, Josh Oduro averaging 18 points a game as the conference's leading scorer. He's been held to just 2 midway through the first half.
And Chuba Ohams, no surprise, paying a ton of attention to him down low. The defense on Oduro has been great. You figure the way that his season is going, he's going to get going at some point.
Charlton, Cologne, Navarro, Simbilla, Rose, and Kelly, the 5 on the floor out of the timeout for Kyle Neptune. Left arc, Charlton dribble it off his foot out through the near sideline. Fordham turns it over. Turnover margin even at 4 for both of these teams. Mason 9-0 this season when winning the turnover battle. Xavier Johnson scrolling across the midline, left arc for Blake Jones, the freshman from Australia. Bounce for Johnson to the dribble, stopped A-10 stamp. Jones the ball fake, right baseline drive, shut off by Kelly. Johnson straight away, left arc, the ball fake. Cooper left of the lane drive, floats it up, too strong, and a push underneath the basket. On the fight for the right block rebound's going to go against Fordham. Mason with an extra possession. Fordham forcing the stop, but can't claim the rebound.
Fordham did a great job rotating defensively there. They had 3 Rams under the basket. No need to use the hands there to get the foul. So against you, Antrell Charlton getting the call.
Charlton picks up his first. As Fordham is tagged with its second. Over the head pass gains. Far corner kick out. Straight away Cooper. Johnson, the far side 3. Front rim and off. Right block rebound for Antrell Charlton. Mason is now 3 of 15 from the field. Straightaway Charlton, right arc Kyle Rose directing traffic with the outstretched left arm. Over the head pass, near side, Cologne Navarro's jab step float for Simbilla. Near side backing down, mismatch with Johnson. Up, left it off front rim, the follow, left off front rim. A third try, Simbilla going up, knocked away, and a foul called. A couple of point blank misses for Abdou Simbilla, symbolic of how this one is started. But the tenacity at the rim will send him to the free throw line.
And he did a good job, gathering those rebounds, but some good chances there for him to put it back up. We'll see what happens to the free throw line. We saw this versus UMass a few games ago on the road. Fordham, him and Ohams missed a lot of shots into the basket. The way that George Mason scored offensively this year, you figure those are shots when you have free opportunities you have to connect on.
Simbilla's first off back heel and no good. Abdou 20 points over his last 4. Scoreless last time out after scoring 4+ in 5 straight. Fordham 7, George Mason 6. At the 9:37 mark of the first half, Simbilla sinks the second, 8-6 Fordham. Darius Quisenberry will check back in after a brief stint on the Fordham bench. Kyle Rose will come out. Front court left for George Mason, Jamal Hartwell. The Patriots 2 of their last 11 from the field. Left arc Hartwell driving on Quisenberry. Kick out. Jones right arc 3. Well too strong. Weak side rebound for Antrell Charlton and Fordham. Mason still yet to hit a 3, 0 of 9.
And Jones just 2 for 15 from 3 on the air, so he's a guy Fordham will absolutely keep to shoot the rock.
Quisenberry straight on 3, rattles around and falls out. Right block rebound, Josh Oduro. Fordham, 1 of its last 8 from the field. Hartwell, head of the key, stop. Schwartz the pass, deflected by Charlton, but he regathers. Right arc back to the basket, Oduro, defended by Simbilla with 12 to shoot, backing down, center of the paint, help from Kelly, fall away from 5, banked in off the glass. Josh Oduro, the leading scorer in the Atlantic 10, 18 points a game, second in the conference in player efficiency rating, ties it at 8 as Mason breaks the scoring drought. Straight on Pat Kelly, 8.5 to go first half, 15 to shoot, Kelly the 3. It's good. Pat Kelly, the catch and shoot. Fordham nails its second 3 of the first half, and the Rams on top 11-8, 8:20 to go first half.
And that's a big shot for Kelly, who hasn't played much the last 3 games, but he had 2 threes last time out for George Mason. When he gets that look, he's going to shoot it every time.
Right arc to Vaughn Cooper, one of 4 Mason players averaging double figures, yet to score in this first half. A foul away from the basketball as Pat Kelly will pick up his first and Fordham's third, with a swipe at Josh Oduro with the help defense coming. Chuba Ohams and Rastik Nowitzki will check in with Abdu Simbilla and Pat Kelly heading out. Fordham has yet to see Chuba Ohams and Darius Quisenberry score in this first half, and yet still have the lead with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, that gives you a lot of confidence in this game because, you know, you're going to need them to score, obviously, throughout this one, but to have this lead the way they've shot, just 4 for 18 from the field, it speaks a lot to what this defense has been able to accomplish.
Baseline inbound Hartwell for Oduro right arc, over the head with 15 on the shot clock, 8 to go first half. Cooper the give and go, stop Oduro, left it long with the left, weak side rebound Charlton. The Rams with numbers if they hurry. Nowitzki, the push, right baseline drive, bounce near corner, kick out Charlton, the 3. Back heeling off, Ohams rips away an offensive board. Left of the lane, backing down, gains the defense, flips it up, left short, gains second in the A-10 and rebounding, clamps one in the center of the paint. Fordham 11, George Mason 8, 7.5 to go first half. It's a tie game, far corner 3, Schwartz puts it in.
And Schwartz just 1 for 6 last time out from 3 versus Fordham. The reason, though, that he took 6 shots, though, he is someone who's always going to get his opportunities. He'll shoot it over anyone, and we saw it on display right there. 5
points in the first half, 10th in the A-10 in scoring. Ball fake, Quisenberry, straight on Cologne Navarro at the 7-minute mark first half. 11 all, Fordham and Mason. Center of the paint stop, Cologne Navarro straight on Quisenberry with 5 to shoot and 4. Head of the key, fall away, left elbow. Front rim and off, it's Hartwell soaring for the center of the paint rebound. Fordham, 1 of its last 7 from the field. The Rams have started just 4 of 21. And Mason off back heel, and the weak side rebound Fordham has started 5 of 20. 11 all at the 6.5-minute mark first half. Left arc, Josh Cologne Navarro, defended by Hartwell. Float for Oham's left block, who's still yet to score in this first half. Drawing the double team, muscles through and banks it in off the glass. Chuba Oham's now 1 of 5 from the field, and Fordham takes the lead 13-11, 6:10 to go first half. Straight on Gaines to a wheeling Schwartz, backing down Nowitzki with 20, step back, 15-foot jumper. Too strong, and the weak side rebound for Chuba Ohams.
And they are okay with Schwartz taking that fadeaway shot. We've seen it a few times there, and great contest by Rastik Nowitzki.
Right arc Charlton, the stop, float for Ohams, far corner, working on Josh Oduro. Battle of the 2 best big men in the A-10. Looking to muscle through, a clamp. Ohams going up, and a foul called on George Mason. Their bench is active. Kim English can't believe it. Ohams draws the foul on Oduro. That'll go down as his second here in this first half with 5:46 remaining. It'll send us to another timeout. The shooting has struggled. Fordham 5 of 22. George Mason 5 of 21. The Rams in front 13-11. 5:46 to go first half from our nation's capital. You're listening to Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, Michael Calamari here, alongside Chris Hennessy, two of your hosts for this week's episode of On the Green.
Be sure to tune in this week as we break down the upcoming Players' Championship and Justin Thomas's defense of his 2021 title.
We'll also recap Scotty Scheffler's win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill from last weekend.
Be sure to tune in every single week for picks of the upcoming event, recap of last week's event, and much more from the PGA Tour.
Catch us wherever you receive your podcast and listen in here on the Green.
Back inside Capital One Arena, a fifth filled with the navy blue seats surrounding the wood finish court. The black, red, and white A-10 championship logo at midcourt. Fordham a 13-11 lead over George Mason. 5:46 to go in the first half. The Rams shooting at 23%, George Mason 24%. There have been just 3 made threes total in the opening half, and a scrappy game that Fordham wants to play, reminiscent of the first meeting between these two teams when neither could put a ball in the ocean.
And neither could put a ball in the ocean last time, but if you look at this, what's this then? Because this is even worse shooting we are seeing on display, and what works to Fordham's favor is George Mason. They're so reliant on the three. 47% of their shots are from three this year. That's 16th most in the entire nation. So they are reliant on the three ball. Fordham can take that out from you, and they may not shoot it on the other end, but at least they, are more determined. They know how to get buckets other ways. That is something, as this game plays out, if George Mason isn't able to figure out from three, I'm fascinated to see how they adjust. See if they can figure it out. A team on the season that has lived by the three and died by the three. They rank 4th in the A-10 in three-point attempts, 3rd in three-point field goal percentage. 3 Mason players ranking in the top 15 in three-point percentage and top 20 in three-pointers made. But the efficiency, as mentioned, they've started 1 of 11 from downtown today, has been crucial. They are 8-4 when shooting threes over 40%, 3-8 when held under 35%, and they are well under 35% to start it in this opening half. And the way this defense plays, they are going to let guys that they believe, can't shoot, take them. But in this game, it's been some of those top-level guys. Devontae Gaines, 25th in the nation in three-point percentage. He's over 3. Cooper at 4-12. He's over 2 as well. So for Fordham, the way this defense is played, the way they've closed out, you have to give a ton of credit to the game plan. Chuba Oham's headed to the free throw line after the second foul called on Josh Oduro. He remains on the floor with 5:46 remaining in the first half. Got into foul trouble in the first meeting between these two teams as Oham's is off on the first. That important with the rotation that Mason plays. Extremely starter heavy, with all of the starting 5 averaging 28 minutes or more. The Patriots 351st in the country in bench minutes at 19%. 86% of their scoring comes from their starters, and foul trouble a major factor in this tournament as Oham's is too strong on the second, an empty trip. It stays 13-11 Fordham. 5:50 to go in the first half. Straight away, Ronald Polite guarded by Oham's for Devontae Gaines. Back to the basket. Ball held above his head, right arc Polite with 15 to shoot. Stop A-10 stamp, straight on 3 Oduro. Back heel and off. Oham's fighting for the weak side rebound. Batted for Charlton. Fordham controls. Another missed 3 for Mason. They're 1 of 12 from downtown in this first half. Right arc Charlton, guarded by Polite. Lost the handle, reclaims with 15 to shoot. Float far corner Oham's, defended by Gaines. Cross-court pass, Rose the 3. Front rim and off. Oduro runs down the near side rebound. Striding across the midline, Mason hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. Curling around Cooper. Backing to the baseline, straight on 3 Polite. Back heel and off. Nowitzki chasing down the near corner board. Make it 1 of 13
from 3 for Mason in this first half.
And Polite, just 6 for 26 from 3 on the air. So for Fordham, you want to make guys uncomfortable shooting, shoot the 3 ball. That's exactly what they're doing right now.
4.5 minutes to go first half. Fordham in front 13-11. Bounce for Charlton. Shovel for Ohams underneath, looking to muscle through. Left it long on a dunk attempt, and Devon Cooper, the weak side loose ball. Oduro, the flip, Cooper wheeling around, bounce left, elbow Oduro, near corner pass, right baseline drive gains, the flip for Polite, straight on 3, Cooper. It's good. Devon Cooper, a top 25 three-point shooter in the country, 41% from deep, has hit 8 threes in his last 3 games and has his first points of the afternoon. Mason back in front 14-13 at the 4-minute mark of the first half. Straight on, Rastik-Novitsky, ball held above his head, the jab step working on Oduro, the contact, offensive foul. Novitsky the shoulder, Oduro to the floor. And Rastik-Novitsky picks up his first, Fordham's third, and it will send us to another timeout. George Mason, a 14-13 advantage. Fordham hasn't scored in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Back to our Rose Hill studios for a one-on-one scoreboard with Tom Quigley.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The conference tournament frenzy is well underway with top 25 teams in action across the country this afternoon. Let's head to Brooklyn for the ACC tourney. Duke trailing Syracuse 28-25 with 10:44 to play in the first half. Moving over to the Big East tournament, Providence leading the Butler Bulldogs 18-16 with 7:27 to play in the first, and a Texas showdown between the Longhorns and TCU just getting underway in the Big 12 quarterfinal. Let's check on some results from last night. 40th straight Big East tourney at the Mecca began yesterday with Butler taking down Xavier 89-82. The pride of Queens, St. John's, got it done over DePaul with a 92-73 final, and the Seton Hall Pirates narrowly pulled out a 57-53 victory over the defending champion Georgetown Hoyas. Moving from borough to borough here with the ACC tournament at the Barclays Center, Syracuse with a lights-out victory to begin their run, 96-57 over Florida State. Virginia snuck by Louisville with a 51-50 final score, and 2 thrilling contests needed overtime to decide a winner, an 82-77 win for BC over Wake Forest, and a 76-75 comeback win for Virginia Tech over Clemson. Now for a couple headlines from around the world of sports. Starting in football, the Washington Commanders are expected to release safety Landon Collins in a salary cap move. And in European football news, Neymar is reportedly in a heated dispute with Paris Saint-Germain following their 3-1 second leg loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16 yesterday. But with a one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Tom Quigley.
Back here at Capital One Arena, George Mason 14, Fordham 13, 3:43 remains in the first half. This the second go-round between Fordham and George Mason in the first meeting between these two teams. A 50-47 Fordham victory at the Rose Hill Gym. Kim English ahead of this one saying that we'll be better. We'll have a better game plan to attack Fordham's quirky defensive style, make adjustments. Ran a simple play that we've seen all season and need to be better in a couple of those areas. Well, the adjustments have not shown up. Lucky for him, Fordham hasn't been able to score either.
And I thought that game was low scoring until I've seen, this one kind of unravel here. And you do get the sense, Nick, defensively they do look more locked in. I know Fordham is shooting 21%, so it's easy to highlight the other team when that's the case. But on George Mason's side of things, we've talked about it, 2 for 14 from 3, just 14%. The way this game's going, how ugly it's been, it's still in Fordham's favor because they've played similar games like this all year. George Mason, outside of that Fordham game, really has not done the same.
Hartwell inbounding to the near side for Devontae Gaines, backing down Charlton, the defense, with 15 to shoot. George Mason has shot at 2 of 10 from 3, 6 of 24 from the field. Center of the paint spin. Gaines shut off. Cooper, the ball fake straight on 3. Johnson. It's good. Xavier Johnson, Mason's assist leader, who had just 4 points in the last 3 games, a season-high 19 in the first meeting with Fordham, had scored just 11 points since then. Puts Mason in front by 4. It's a 6-0 Patriots run. Float for Simbila, underneath, knocked away, out through the baseline. Fordham will keep it with 15 on the shot clock, 2:58 to go in the opening half. George Mason 17, Fordham 13.
And you see on display right there, that's why George Mason's defense has been so successful. OM's at the top of the key, throwing it down to Simbila. They instantly bring a triple. Abdu Simbila hasn't dealt with doubles this year, let alone a triple. Not able to get out of it, fortunately for Fordham, to get the foul call. But even if he was able to pass out of it, Fordham has not shown the ability to hit down the shot to make George Mason waver.
Float for Charlton, head of the key, curling Quisenberry, right arc. Defended by Johnson, screen right Simbila, left arc Cologne Navarro with 12 on the shot clock. Straight on Charlton, who's got 5 first half points. Screen Simbila with 6 to shoot and 5. Charlton, head of the key jumper, is good. Antrell Charlton with another bucket, 7 first half points, and Fordham trails by 2, 17-15, 2.5 to go first half.
And when Fordham's needed a bailout bucket, it's been Antrell Charlton time and time again in this game.
Hartwell straight away, left arc Johnson, step back 3. Back heel and off, Quisenberry, the free throw line rebound. Darius Quisenberry, Fordham's top scorer, 17 points a game, has not scored in this first half. Chuba Ohams with just 2. Straight on Charlton, 7 first half points, curling around, stop at the stamp. Right arc, ball fake, Cologne Navarro, straight on 3, Quisenberry. Back heel and off, Johnson runs down the weak side rebound. Mason pushing in transition, left of the lane drive, gains fall away from 5, left short. Simbila tips away the underneath the basket rebound. Mason 17, Fordham 15. The final 1:40 of the first half in this second round A-10 tournament matchup. Straightaway Charlton, defended by Devon Cooper, curling around, pull-up jumper. Rolls off the rim. Simbila yanks down the board, left it short. Another follow. Double team comes on the floor, rolled out. Johnson has possession. Front court center, Schwartz driving, center of the paint, lays it in off the glass. Deshaun Schwartz pedaling into the front court. And Mason, a 4-point lead, 19-15 in the final minute 5 of this first half. Simbila head of the key, over the head pass, Charlton left arc. Screen right from Ohams, the bounce center of the paint, adjustment, rolls it in. Chuba Ohams to 4 points in the first half. Fordham, with the offense picking up, trails by 2, 19-17 in the final 50 seconds of the opening half.
Really nice ball movement there from the Rams. Any way you can get OMs in the paint, whether it's on a cut, on a dish, you do so. Antrell Charlton to Chuba Ohams, it's been the connection all year, and it was on that play.
Straight on Gaines, hesitation dribble, lost it diving on the floor. Fordham rips it away, straight on Cologne Navarro. Charlton on the follow, ball fake dump. Ohams drawing the double team, backing down, the flip up, back heel off. Simbila rips it away, his follow knocked away on the deflection and a foul called underneath. Fordham doing a good job on the interior, have been attacking the glass, a place that Mason has struggled recently, winning the rebounding battle 27-19. And Abdu Simbila with a chance to tie this at the free throw line.
George Mason last time out gave up 17 offensive rebounds. You look at a game they lose in overtime, second chance possessions like that, a big reason why. In this one, Fordham's got a few chances, and Abdu Simbila to the line to answer.
Simbila swirls in the first. Mason head coach Kim English saying it's been back-to-back games that we've been punched in the mouth on the glass. That's unacceptable. Something we've got to change and get better at. So far, not the case, as Fordham has had a big-time advantage in that area. Simbila with 3 first-half points to tie it up. His free throw's good. 19 all in the final 22 seconds of the first half. Abdu Simbila will check out. Rastik Nowitzki will return to the floor. Charlton, Rose, Ohams, Quisenberry, and Nowitzki, the 5 on the floor for Fordham, with the shot clock turned off in the final 15 seconds first half. Xavier Johnson, left arc roam, has all sorts of room, attacks, stop at the A-10 stamp. The kick out, Devon Cooper with 6 and 5, guarded by Charlton, 4 and 3. Johnson with 2, tries the 3, is good. As the first half clock expires, Xavier Johnson knocks down the wide open 3. 6 first half points, and Mason heads to the halftime locker room with a 3-point lead, 22-19 after the opening 20 minutes. Two teams that really struggled to shoot it. Mason, 9 of 30 in the first half. Fordham, 7 of 30. The Rams, led by Antrell Charlton, with 7 first-half points. Chuba Ohams and Darius Quisenberry combined for just 4. And for George Mason, Xavier Johnson with 6, and Deshaun Schwartz, the secondary scoring, getting going with a game-high 7 to put George Mason in front by 3 at the break. Patriots 22, Fordham 19. 20 minutes left to fight for this season. Back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome into the one-on-one halftime report from the Rose Hill Studios here in the Bronx. I'm Chris Hennessy. Thomas Quigley is with me. You're going to hear him give an update, and we're going to break down the first half of the first game for Fordham in the A-10 tournament. 22-19, the George Mason Patriots ahead of the Fordham Rams. But first, let's hear an update from the other NCAA tournament games on the schedule. Here's Tom.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Plenty of top 25 conference tournament action to get into this afternoon. We'll start in Brooklyn with the ACC tournament. Syracuse leads Duke 33-32 with about 4 minutes left in the first half there. Moving over to the Big East tournament, Butler on top of Providence 25-22 with 5 minutes to play in that first half, and a Texas showdown between the Longhorns and TCU in the Big 12 quarterfinal. They are knotted at 7 apiece with 12.5 to play in the first. Let's check in on some highlights or some results from last night. The 40th straight Big East tourney at the Mecca began yesterday with Butler taking down Xavier 89-82. The local squad, St. John's, took care of business over DePaul with a 92-73 final, and the Seton Hall Pirates eked out a 57-53 victory over the defending champion Georgetown Hoyas. Transitioning Burroughs over to the ACC tournament at the Barclays Center, Syracuse with a blowout victory to begin their run, 96-57 over Florida State. And Virginia narrowly snuck by Louisville with a 51-50 final score. And a couple OT thrillers resulted in an 82-77 win for BC over Wake Forest and a 76-75 comeback victory for Virginia Tech over the Clemson Tigers. Let's get to a few headlines from around the world of sports. Starting in American football, the Washington Commanders are expected to release safety Landon Collins in a salary cap move. And in European football news, Neymar is reportedly in a heated dispute with his club Paris Saint-Germain following their 3-1 second leg loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16 yesterday afternoon. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Tom Quigley.
All right, we're back here. Thomas Quigley sticking around to break down this first half, and what was a frustrating first half for the Fordham Rams. They finished 7 of 30 from the field, as you heard Nick say. That's 23%, 2 of 11 from behind the arc. It's frustrating, Quiggs, because George Mason gave Fordham every single opportunity to run away with this game in the first 10 minutes. They were 0 for 9 from the field at one point. They went over 3 minutes without scoring multiple times. Over 9 from 3, I should say. That's George Mason, and the Patriots just stuck around, and Fordham was not able to get it to fall. And they weren't even playing great defense. Some of these were wide-open looks, and they had the opportunity, and they just can't take it.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be a classic case of Fordham playing down to their opponent a little bit. But right now, I mean, they're trailing 3 points at the half, and this is, like you said, not really a great effort put forth by either team, especially in the offensive zone. You're not going to win a game if you shoot 23% from the field. That's just not a winning formula. And, their three-point kind of percentages have always been, at least a little bit lower since we lost Antonio Day Jr. earlier in the season. But this is just not even close to, the numbers that they were putting up in their hot stretch to end the regular season.
Right. And you mentioned Day. And when Day left, we knew that the large load, the guard load, would go on to Darius Quisenberry. And yes, he was hurt at one point, but since he's come back, he's been less than spectacular, partially probably because he's recovering from this injury still. And today includes that. No points in the first half, 0 for 5 from the field, 3 of those from behind the arc, only 1 rebound, no assists, which is the concerning part to me because the big play on this offense is to get it to Chuba and let him work. And Darius should be the guy handling the ball at the top of the key. He hasn't, and Chuba's had his struggles as well. He's 2 for 8 from the field and 0 for 2 from the line. But you have to be a little bit concerned when you see those two guys who are at the top of the board. They're the best 2 players on the team. They're the best 2 offensive weapons. Be a combined 2 for 13 with no assists. That is definitely concerning.
Yeah, it's no question that this offense does run through Chuba Ohams, and if you're not taking advantage of his size, his ability to do what he can do down low in the paint, you're just not taking advantage of this offensive system. And right now, we'll see if they can heat up a little bit more in the second half. They're very much more a quality over quantity type of look team, especially when it comes to Darius Quisenberry from behind the line. You mentioned 0 for 3. We'll probably start seeing some of those fall, but right now the inefficiency is really taking heed over this Fordham Rams team, and you see it on the scoreboard right now.
This was a matchup that we knew was going to be low scoring. It was low scoring last time, as Gregware mentioned. 50-47 was the final score there. We're on pace for a little bit less than that through 20 minutes. And, yeah, it has been less than efficient on the offensive side. We'll just say that. And Fordham both teams, I guess you could say, really getting away with one. You mentioned you can't shoot 23% and win a basketball game. Well, you also really can't shoot 30% and win a basketball game, which is what George Mason is at now. They're 9 for 30. That's good for 30%. So, yeah, it's definitely concerning. It's definitely you want to see more from a lot of players, including both Ohams and Quisenberry on the offensive end. And the guys mentioned it. Obviously, this season has been a resounding success for Kyle Neptune, even with the injuries, even with the Antonio Day distraction. This has been a great season to get to 500, to avoid the play-in of the A-10 tournament, and get to this game. To win a game would be the cherry on top, but they're going to have to do a lot in this second half. But, yeah, I think that this is not indicative of what we've seen this year. The effort was not as high as we've seen, and I think that they, not to be a downer, but they're playing against Davidson, who just crushed them 2 weeks ago if they do win this game. So you're probably thinking this is the last chance to really win a game this season. Of course, it's possible to beat Davidson, but it'd be very difficult to do, given how well they've played over the last 6 weeks or so. So it's disappointing as well. You want to see this team come out and put together a good effort and get that final win of the season, get themselves over 500, but it doesn't look great so far. They've been able to keep in it with some good defensive play and overall solid play from the defensive side of the ball. I'm curious, your thoughts on if they do end up getting through this game, that Davidson matchup, because they played Davidson close really once. They got crushed by Davidson the second time. The second time was without Quisenberry or Day. First time was with both. So this will kind of be, if they do play, the third different combination of guards they have back there. To me, it seems very difficult for them to win that game. But it is March, after all.
Yeah, I was at the Davidson game. I was on the sideline pushing the buttons. And the first half was very competitive. It was that second half where they just kind of couldn't score at all.
This was the second game.
This is the second game. This is the game down at Davidson. So it was definitely a tough showing in that second half, but Davidson's a really strong team. They're a team that has been ranked in the top 25 this season, and Fordham really put up a very impressive performance at home against them. Obviously, this isn't home, and when Fordham does play at home, especially then, they didn't have a crowd, so there wasn't much of a home field advantage. So right now, what they might be struggling from is playing in a bigger arena, playing with a bit more of a fan atmosphere, especially in Davidson. Davidson was a very crowded arena when they played away there. So, the fan aspect definitely has something to do with their play, I think. They haven't really been at their best when playing in front of big crowds this season, at least, against Manhattan, one of the bigger crowds this year, and they did not come out on top. But I really liked, watching their performance against Davidson. Obviously, in the first game, they were up by, I think, 12 or 14 at one point, and, it kind of just fell apart at the end. But if it weren't for maybe a questionable no call on a foul, a no call against Quisenberry, who chucked one up very late in that game. They could have been going to overtime. So, this is a team that can definitely compete. It's just that, the way that they're playing against George Mason right now, they're going to get completely taken out immediately. I mean, there's just this kind of fight is going to be nothing against a team like Davidson if they're able to get there. So, I mean, obviously you first got to look to the second half and figure out how to win this game before you start worrying about Davidson. But when it comes to Davidson, if they can play at least the way that they were able to start against both of those games in the regular season, there's a chance. There's always a chance. But really a win here and a focus on this second half is what should be at the top of their minds, because this is a very beatable team, and they're playing extremely beatable. 30% field goal percentage, like you said, should not be a winning formula for George Mason.
Definitely not. Fordham looking to win their first A-10 tournament game since March of 2015 when they beat the George Mason Patriots by a score of 71-65. I don't think we're getting 71-65 in this one. A low-scoring affair. 22-19 is the score after 20 minutes, about 60 seconds until we send you back out to the Capital. I almost said the Rose Hill Gym. That's not where they're playing this. Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Nick DeLuca, Ryan Gregware, and Mike Messina standing by there. Let's get it started. Second half from Capital One Arena between George Mason and Fordham right here on WFUV Sports.
Hey folks, this is Thomas Aiello
with Ryan Gregware,
and we're your main hosts for WFUV Sports' new college basketball podcast, Storm the Court.
We'll talk about the top 25 rankings, some of the big games from the week before, and preview the slates ahead.
We also talk Fordham basketball, both men's and women's, so don't be afraid to listen to that as well.
Tyler Hu and Danny Scott also join the show as recurring hosts.
So make sure to tune in to Storm the Court, a production of WFUV Sports. This is the road to March.
Thanks, guys. Back here in our nation's capital, Capital One Arena. George Mason 22, Fordham 19 at the halftime break. Nick DeLuca, Ryan Gregware, our entire WFUV Sports crew. Very reminiscent of the first matchup between these two teams. George Mason starting 24% from the field, Fordham at 23%, and the shooting has been problematic all afternoon. It's going to be a war of attrition to see who can finally get some of them to fall.
It was 26-24, last time at halftime versus George Mason, and you figured with Darius Quisenberry back, A-10 tournament, we're 2+ weeks removed from them, so be a different game. But we were wrong. This is the same exact game, if not even more gritty, more tough. It's going to come down, you said, to a war of attrition. The way these teams have shot in this game, just 4 for 17 from 3 is George Mason, Fordham 2 for 11 on the other end. You get the feeling every bucket's so important, especially from beyond the arc.
We talk so often about Fordham's defensive strategy and taking away the key pieces for opponents. That's what George Mason has done this afternoon. Chuba Oham's drawing a lot of attention, just 4 points on 2 of 8 from the field. Darius Quisenberry on the perimeter along with Antrell Charlton, Pat Kelly included, going to have to step up.
Yeah, Oham and Quisenberry combined, just 2 for 13. You're not going to win many games when your 2 best players are struggling like that. I think you look at Darius Quisenberry, 5 shots taken. He has to be more aggressive. I know he's still got a 0 in the scoring column, but there's no way this team, this offense, can function the way they want to if he's not a threat, even if he's not hitting down shots. The pressure that, Coach Neptune talks about, that he puts, that he takes off other guys, but hasn't been there today, and George Mason hasn't shown, an ability to really play tough defense on him because they haven't had to let other guys step up. So he is going to have to hit some shots, so they switch up their defense and pay more attention to Darius Quisenberry.
When you only score 19 and a half, when you get 7, it's very important. Antrell Charlton has poured in those 7 points, 3 of 6 from the field, hit a 3, a guy who has not been a great scorer down the stretch for this team. It's been more about his distributing the basketball, and he's been able to score today.
And he's been able to bail out the offense. You look at those 7 points, they're coming late in the shot clock, pull-up contested twos, a 3 when they were in a drought there. It's been huge for Fordham. You know, he has the ability to impact his team positively without scoring the basketball. But in this game, when you have 7 of 19 points, every point is so crucial for Antioch Charlton.
On the other side for George Mason, their top scorer, the leader in the Atlantic 10, Josh Oduro, averaging 18 points a game, held to just 4, had the 6 rebounds, has been someone who has been very involved in this George Mason offense down the stretch, but Fordham has done a good job in the opening 20 minutes of taking him away.
And that's what this defense has done time in and time out, even if it's another guy stepping up. This time Schwartz, their second leading scorer. What they've done on Josh Oduro, it's been impressive, but this is a 40-minute game. This coaching staff talks about them a lot, so you expect that same intensity, same attention to be put to him in the second half.
Deshaun Schwartz, joining Oduro in the top 10 in the A-10 in scoring, has 7 for George Mason at the break. He, along with Xavier Johnson, 2 of the pieces that have had a little bit more leeway for the Patriots in that opening half, have carried them to 22 points.
And Xavier Johnson, I think the guy we need to talk about, because last time we talked about the 16 shots he took. He was someone Fordham was going to let beat. Since then, in the last 4 games, just 15 taken. Well, he's at 6 here today, so that same game plan, that same attention or lack thereof to Xavier Johnson has been put on him thus far. He hit that 3 before half. You hope for Fordham that doesn't give the Patriots momentum, but he's someone you figure the way that this team, Fordham, plays defense is going to get more opportunities to score.
Fordham shooting at 23% in the first half. George Mason at 30%. And 2 teams with 20 minutes to decide who moves on to the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. Fordham, with a win, would advance for the first time since 2007 to that late stage of the A-10 tournament. George Mason starts with it out of the break, straight on Xavier Johnson. Left arc for Deshaun Schwartz, back to the basket, Oduro. Straight on Gaines, the 3. Back heel off, Simbilla, the right block rebound. Mason struggles from three-point land continue, 4 of 18.
And Devontae Gaines specifically, an 11-point per game guy, 0 for 6 in this game. His struggles have been huge for Fordham. We'll see if they can start capitalizing.
Ball fake, Cologne Navarro, free throw line jumper, rolls off. Center of the paint rebound, Gaines, the outlet. Far sideline for Johnson, front court right, defended by Cologne Navarro. The float for Oduro, backing down Simbilla. Step through, fall away from 5, goes in. Josh Oduro with 6 points, and Mason the first points of the second half to take a 5-point lead, 24-15, a minute in. Straight on Cologne Navarro, Oham straight up. Fake the 3, looking for an outlet, backing down Gaines. Left baseline with 12 to shoot, all the way toward the basket, flips it up, left short. Oduro wrestles away the underneath the basket rebound. He's got 7. Cooper near corner 3 in transition, well off, and Rose the weak side rebound.
Those are looks that Fordham will be willing to give Devontae Cooper, quick looks in transition, contested. Those are the 3s they're willing to give.
Step back 3, Rose in and out. Offensive board, Simbilla, outlet, Quisenberry near side. Still looking to get on the board today. Bounce left arc for Cologne Navarro, who is 0-4 from the field this afternoon, hasn't scored as well. Bounce left baseline for Ohams, his cross-court pass tipped and taken away by Johnson. Front court left, driving center of the paint, hanging in the air, left it off front rim. And a battle for the rebound in the center of the paint with bodies flying to the floor is ripped away by Fordham, but a foul called. Antioch Charlton picks up the transition foul. It'll be Fordham's first of the second half, and Charlton picking up his first.
And George Mason, pushing the basketball there after getting the turnover. I think one of the things you look at in this one when it's all said and done is whose defense can generate more offense. Well, there, George Mason pushing it, you get the feeling when these teams get turnovers, that's going to be what they're looking to do.
Right block dump for Oduro. Free throw line stop. His pull-up. Back heel and off. Ohams, the center of the paint rebound.
And those are the shots you're willing to let Oduro take. It's anything in the paint that's off limits, but a pull-up jumper, that's not his game. So if you're able to force him to take those, you do it if you're the Rams.
Fordham started 0-3 in the second half. Left arc Rome Rose settling down. Screen right Simbilla, wheeling Quisenberry up top with 10 to shoot. Left arc Charlton, pull up at the head of the key. Front rim and off. Gaines clears for the center of the paint. Rebound ripped away by Ohams. Mutual possession. And a jump ball ruled. The arrow with Fordham, who will keep possession. The extra effort by Ohams nets the Rams an extra possession.
That's what makes Ohams so special, because he doesn't give up on that play. It looks like Gaines had control of the rebound. It popped out just a bit. He was in the right position to grab it and steal possession for the Rams.
Left of the goal inbound, Ohams near corner. Shovel Charlton. Float for Ohams, defended by Oduro. With 15 to shoot, ball held at his waist. Backing down, looking to clear. Lefty hook shot, back heel and off. Oduro, an 8th defensive rebound. Oduro roaming into the front court. Left arc, swiped away. Ohams. Rams left to right into the front court. Euro step blocked away by Oduro. The near side loose ball for Cooper. His float to the front court, knocked away Quisenberry. A wrestle center of the paint. And the two teams converging. A jump ball is ruled. Possession with Mason. Darius Quisenberry getting back to defend that long pass into the front court. Slides across the baseline. He comes up gingerly to the left of the basket. And now the attention on the health of Darius Quisenberry, who has been playing through a lot of pain, and seeing if he can continue.
And already, someone who's clearly banged up. Coach Neptune said after, the last win for Fordham, he's playing on one leg. So him to crash into the stands right there, you hope he's all right.
Quisenberry will remain on the floor. 3 minutes in to the second half. Mason a 24-19 lead over Fordham. Oduro backing down, drawing the double team, swims through, rolls it in. Oduro splitting the double team to 8 points to lead Mason. And the Patriots with the first 4 in this second half to extend the lead to 7, 26-19. 3.5 minutes gone by second half. Curling Quisenberry, left arc, who still has not scored yet today. Straight on Ohams. Stop at the free throw line, attacking Oduro. Backing down. Ohams, the shoulder. Looking to clear. Far corner pass, Charlton's 3. Front rim and off. Nowitzki, the weak side board. Quisenberry, right arc. Back heel and off. Schwartz, the left arc rebound.
These are the looks. If you're Fordham, you're willing to give Darius Quisenberry. He's just been unable to get it going thus far.
The Rams 0 of 7 from the field to open the second half. Oduro, the righty runner, goes down. Josh Oduro has 6 points in the first couple of minutes of this second half. 4 minutes in, Mason a 28-19 lead. Rams looking to answer the Mason run. It's a 9-0 dating back to the late stages of the first half. Nowitzki getting inside, leaves it off front rim, gains the weak side rebound. Johnson across the midline, bounce. Left of the lane, Oduro. Over the head possession, drawing the double team. Behind the back pass, Johnson rolls it in. The feed by Oduro, Johnson the lay-in. It's an 11-0 George Mason run, and the Patriots in front, 30-19. Across the midline, Charlton, and Kyle Neptune will ask for a timeout. George Mason out of the halftime break, 4 of 8 from the field. Fordham 0 of 9. An 8-0 run out of the halftime locker room, and George Mason with their largest lead of the day. That's 11, 30-19, 15-22 to go in this one. You're listening to Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports.
This is Tom Quigley, your Rangers beat reporter for WFUV Sports. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at TQuigs04, that's TQUIGS04, for all the latest Blue Shirts news and in-game updates. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to WFUV Sports on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for my post-game recaps and for all things WFUV.
Back here at Capital One Arena, Nick DeLuca, Ryan Gregware, our entire WFUV Sports crew. George Mason has the first 8 points of this second half, an 11-0 run to make it a 30-19 George Mason lead over Fordham. And the Rams, who have not been able to get anything going, 0 of 9 from the field to start the second half, are in a tough spot.
You wondered how long, they could contain the conference's leading scorer with their offense being as simply putrid as it's been. And Josh Oduro, he's been able to kind of get it going in this second half, now up to 10 for the game. But it's just the attention that he brings. We saw last possession, Fordham had to bring 2 to 3 defenders on him. He was able to dish it inside to Johnson. So when your offense is going through your big man and he has it going, as we've seen with Fordham the last few games, it really opens up the floor. And if Fordham's going to go for 9, George Mason, give them credit, they are taking all the advantage on both ends of the floor.
Oduro to a game-high 10 points, 6 coming in the opening stages of the second half. And now Fordham in a spot where they are in need of a response. Antrell Charlton, Kyle Rose, Josh Colon-Navarro, Pat Kelly, and Chuba Ohams, the 5 out of the timeout for Fordham, trailing by 11, their largest deficit of the day, 30-19, with 15:22 on the second half clock. As a poor shooting start for both of these teams in the first half has given way to Mason finding some traction to open the second half, and now Fordham looking to see if they can't go on a run.
And the same, kind of principles we talked about during that halftime apply here. Darius Quisenberry, 0 for 6 right now. Chuba Ohams, 2 for 11. It starts with them on the offensive side of things. You're never going to be able to establish an identity without getting them going, so you have to figure out ways to get them going.
Rams trailing 30-19. Ball back in play. Charlton, left arc 3, Kelly is good. Out of the timeout, Pat Kelly, the feed from Charlton. The Rams answer, trailing by 8, 30-22, 5 minutes in second half. Straight away, Xavier Johnson, who's got 8 points on 3 of 8 from the field. Left arc for Deshaun Schwartz, back to the basket, guarded by Rose. With 15 to shoot, a foul away from the basketball, with Oduro and Ohams tangled up. To the left of the lane, Ohams will pick up his first foul, and Fordham will be charged with their second of the second half. Two teams returning to their respective benches on each side of the scorer's table as Kyle Neptune looks for a word from the officials. And with 14:52 to go in the second half, will send us to another media timeout. George Mason 30, Fordham 22. You're listening to Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kayla Wenzel, reminding you to follow WFUV Sports on all your social media platforms. Check out our Twitter or Instagram by searching @WFUV Sports. This way you can follow along with our New York beat reporters in and post-game reports. You can also find highlights from today's basketball game and even links for our one-on-one broadcasts. Our social media keeps you up to date with all WFUV coverage, so make sure you give us a follow so that you never miss an update.
Back here at Capital One Arena, George Mason 30, Fordham 22, 14:52 to go in this one. Mason, an 8-0 run to start the second half. Fordham answering with the Pat Kelly 3 out of the timeout. Mason has hit each of its last 3 attempts from the field, and Fordham looking to fight back. The defense that had been so good in that first half, needing to pick things up here into the second.
And they've done so from beyond the arc, but now George Mason's kind of switched up their attack. We talked about how reliant they're on the three. Well, during this run, they've only taken two, haven't hit one of them. They've attacked it inside. Fordham needs to respond to the interior while keeping an eye on the perimeter. There's just so many ways George Mason can beat you, and if your offense is going to play this bad, it's simply going to get exposed over 40 minutes.
Fordham trailing by 8, 30-22. In the second round of this Atlantic 10 tournament, these two teams playing for a chance to advance to the A-10 quarterfinal. Noon tip tomorrow against Davidson. And the other, bus ride home and the end of the season. Ball back in play near side Oduro, straight on Gaines. Cooper curling around, and a foul called on Josh Colon-Navarro. Looking to swipe at the basketball, and Colon-Navarro will pick up his first. It's Fordham's second.
And he's another guy. We haven't talked about him enough for struggling in this one. 11 points per game over his last 13, but still scoreless and 0 for 4 from the floor in this one.
Far corner Gaines straight on Oduro, 15 to shoot. Roaming left arc, the switch with Cooper, curling around Johnson, has it straight away. Left arc defense from Ohams, his pass deflected, straight away the intercept by Colon-Navarro. Fordham runs out, left arc stop Rose, jab step, between the legs dribble, lost the handle, Schwartz. The loose ball for George Mason. Fordham turns it over for an 8th time today. Bounce for Oduro, far corner back to the basket. Left arc Cooper, rise and fire. It's good. Devon Cooper off the feed from Oduro. Open from three. And the top 25 three-point shooter puts it in. George Mason back in front by 11, 33-22. 6 minutes in, second half. Left arc Kelly. The ball fake straight on Charlton. Cooper the defense. Between the legs dribble. Float inside. Off the rim. Rose the loose ball with 10 to shoot. Bounce Ohams backing down Oduro. Stop center of the paint. Knocked away with 5 and with 4. Ohams back up. Rolls it in with the right. Chuba Ohams the hesitation. 6 points. And Fordham trims the George Mason lead to 33-24 with 13 and a half minutes to go second half. Cooper straight on three. In and out. Battle for the center of the paint rebound. One away by Antrell Charlton. Rams trailing by 8. Left arc three Charlton. Back heel off. Kelly the bat into the backcourt. Rose tracks it down. Mason by 9. 33-24. And the final 13 minutes of this one. Straight on Rose, left arc Charlton, outstretched left arm directing traffic. Cooper the defense. The baseline pass out of the hands of Colon-Navarro and out through the end line. Fordham turns it over. Mason possession with 12:55 to go in the second half. A 9-point Patriot lead.
And this Fordham offense still without a true identity. You see there, a deep pass to Josh Colon-Navarro cutting under the basket. The only times they've been able to get buckets, they haven't come easy. Chuba Ohams fighting on a second attempt. They're going to have to get more high percentage looks, more effortless looks if they want to be able to score and close the gap.
Left arc Cooper, stop head of the key. Far corner pass for Blake Jones, who's checked in. Schwartz defended by Simbilla, right arc with 12 to shoot. Stop at the free throw line. The up and under rolls off. Kelly batting the rebound left of the lane, ripped away by Devontae Gaines. Mason an extra possession with 12 to shoot. The dump off Jones backing down. The righty hook in off the glass. Blake Jones, who had 2 points in the first meeting with Fordham, puts Mason back in front by 11, 35-24. 12 minutes and ticking second half. Charlton, center of the paint surge, far corner kick out. The three, Colon-Navarro knocks it down. Josh Colon-Navarro, the catch and shoot. Fordham answers. They trail by 8. 35-27 Mason with 11:50 and ticking in the second half. Left arc Jones, the float back to the basket. Schwartz working on Charlton. A-10 stamp stop. Straight away Cooper, free throw line, righty runner, back heel off, batted rebound. Kelly secures. Fordham front court right, Josh Colon-Navarro drawing the double team, falling over the block by Jones. the Mason foul, and it sends us to another timeout. Fordham looking to answer that Mason run to start the second half. They've closed the gap to 8. George Mason 35, Fordham 27, 11:34 to go in this one. Back to our Rose Hill studios for a one-on-one scoreboard with Tom Quigley.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The conference tournament frenzy is well underway with top 25 teams in action across the country this afternoon. Let's head to Brooklyn for the ACC tournament. Syracuse leading Duke 48-43 with 17 minutes left to play in the second half. In the Big East tournament, we got Butler and Providence even at 31 at the half, and a Texas showdown in the Big 12 conference tournament. TCU and Texas. Texas up 38-20 with just a minute left in that first half. Let's check in on some results from last night. The 40th straight Big East tourney at the Mecca began yesterday with Butler taking down Xavier 89-82. The Pride of Queens, St. John's, got it done over DePaul with a 92-73 final, and the Seton Hall Pirates narrowly pulled out a 57-53 victory over the defending champion Georgetown Hoyas. Moving from borough to borough here with the ACC tournament at the Barclays Center, Syracuse with a lights-out victory to begin their run, 96-57 over Florida State. Virginia snuck by Louisville with a 51-50 final score, and two thrilling contests needed overtime to decide a winner. That was an 82-77 win for BC over Wake Forest, and a 76-75 comeback win for Virginia Tech over Clemson. Now for a couple headlines from around the world of sports, starting in American football, the Washington Commanders are expected to release safety Landon Collins in a salary cap move. And in European football news, Neymar is reportedly in a heated dispute with his club Paris Saint-Germain following their 3-1 second leg loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16 yesterday. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Tom Quigley.
George Mason 35, Fordham 27, 11:34 to go in this one. The second round of the Atlantic 10 tournament with a date in the A-10 quarterfinal on the line. Fordham has closed the gap after George Mason was able to get out to that 11-point lead, and now trying to get the defense to transition to more made shots.
What's key here is you see them down 8, 11 plus in this one. You are absolutely still in this game. You have to stick to the game plan that, you tried to emphasize for 40 minutes, because the defense, it's still working. You're still holding George Mason 35%. It's the offense that's really held you back. So you have to stick with your defensive game plan. Don't try to switch things up. And the shots, really, that's been the theme with the team all year, Nick. When the shots fall, they win games. It's going to come down to, can the shots start falling for them? Pat Kelly hitting a few threes off the bench. That's been a huge spark plug. You're going to need other guys to step up and do the same for the Rams.
Charlton, Cologne, Navarro, Simbilla, Kelly, and Riley, the five that started for Fordham out of the timeout. Chuba Oham's on the bench getting a rest. Straight away, Charlton, the three, Kelly is good. Pat Kelly, a second made three, curling around the screen. The feed from Charlton, and Fordham has closed the gap to 5, 35-30 Mason with 11:15 and ticking second half. Gaines, front court left, stop at the arc. Hartwell straight away defended by Kelly. The Rams a 6-0 run over the last minute. Waist-high dribble, straight on, back to the basket, Deshaun Schwartz. Oduro roaming left with 10 to shoot. Polite curling around, defended by Charlton, long two. Is good. Ronald Polite, rotation piece, working back from injury. Didn't play in the first meeting with Fordham. And Mason answers. The lead is 7, 10:40 to go in the second half. Charlton, right elbow stop, back to the basket, shut off. Straight on, Cologne Navarro, guarded by Hartwell. Left arc, Cologne Navarro, screen right, Simbilla, left to the lane, Surge, drawing the double team, poked away, out through the baseline. Last touch by Cologne Navarro, Mason possession.
And George Mason, they're really putting the pressure on whoever has the ball. Cologne Navarro, who's had success as of late driving into the paint, has not been able to do so. Very uncomfortable there. They're willing to give up an open three, and there they don't need to because the tough defense forced the turnover.
Kyle Rose checks back in for Fordham along with Chuba Ohams. Cologne Navarro and Simbilla will head out. Hartwell, backcourt pressure across the midline. Left arc Polite. Driving left to the lane, closed off by Riley. Straight away Hartwell. Mason back to the perimeter. Right arc Devontae Gaines. Dump for Oduro. Right block stop. Hartwell. Extra pass. Near side three. Polite. Right rim and off. And the weak side rebound for Antreal Charlton. Fordham into the front court trailing by 7. Midway through the second half. Float center of the paint. Deflected away. Polite into the front court. Speedings right of the lane, and an offensive foul is called. Ronald Polite surging to the basket. Looked like a potential and one, but the call will go Fordham's way. And the Rams with possession back, trailing by 7, 37-30, 9:50 to go.
And defensively, the answer for Fordham has been forcing George Mason to ramp up the pressure, whether that's bringing a full court, right off the bat, or just in transition. By doing that, they're making their own comfortable, and Fordham in position there to get the offensive foul go their way.
George Mason shooting at 36% this afternoon. Fordham at 24%. Left arc Ohams, left to the lane drive, shoulder shake going up, and a foul called. Oduro reaching through, picks up his third at the 9:37 mark of the second half. And Chuba Ohams headed to the free throw line, has 6 points on 3 of 13 from the field, and make it Oduro's fourth.
And that's huge for Fordham. We saw last time getting Gaines into foul trouble really confused them. But if you have Josh Oduro, the conference's leading scorer now with 4 fouls, that is how you can shift some momentum, get his body, get his presence, get his skill out of the game. This is where Chuba Ohams, with him out, can really start to get it going.
Ohams sinks the first. Oduro will head to the bench with Schwartz coming back in. That one of the dangers of the way that George Mason plays, so reliant on that starting 5. Now can Fordham take advantage? Chuba Ohams to 7 points on 3 of 13 from the field. A chance to cut it to a 5-point game. The free throw rolls around and falls out. Left block rebound for Devontae Gaines. Mason in front by 6, 37-31, 9.5 minutes to go in this one. Polite stops center of the paint, bowling over Ohams, and a push called underneath. Chuba Ohams will pick up the foul, late getting over with the help defense. It's his second and Fordham's third. Check if they'll call the foul on the reach for Antreal Charlton. His first, still Fordham's third. And a left to the goal inbound coming for Ronald Polite. Contested by Ohams, the bounce in and out of the hands of Johnson. Riley speeding to the front court, Euro step, count it, and the foul. Zach Riley, the bigger part of the rotation recently, combined for 15 points in his last 3, gets a huge Fordham bucket. And the Rams a chance to cut it to a 1-possession game at the free throw line.
What we've seen from Zach Riley is, regardless if the numbers are there, instant energy. It's what he's provided all year. They're pushing it in transition, getting the basket, and the foul to go his way. His transition game as well, a plus for him on the year.
The foul goes to Jamal Hartwell. It's his first. And Mason's fourth. The free throw converted by Riley. And the Rams are within 3. 37-34 Mason. 9:15 and ticking in the second half. Gaines, the right arc feed for Schwartz. Far corner pass, Gaines the 3. Right rim and off. Charlton bats the rebound. Ohams controls center of the paint. Front court left Charlton. The Rams can tie it on this possession with a 3. Trailed by as many as 11 in this second half. Heels on the A-10 logo midcourt. Right arc, Ohams drawing the double team. 12 on the shot clock. Kick out Riley's 3. Back heel and off, but a foul called. Riley drawing the personal on the closeout by Mason. And in the act of shooting, Riley headed to the free throw line with a chance to tie it.
And all of a sudden here, you look at Fordham not switching it up defensively, hitting a few shots. Now all of a sudden, after the foul goes Fordham's way, they have a chance to tie things up.
And Zach Riley, who got the big and one bucket, nails the first free throw with a chance to tie it. 37-35, Mason leading Fordham. 8:46 remaining second half. Mason hasn't scored in the last 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Riley rattles in the second, and Fordham is within one.
And this is what we were talking about, Nick. You know, with Oduro being out in foul trouble, look how quickly this turned. Now Fordham has momentum. Fordham has the ability, with OAMs not in foul trouble, to take even more advantage as the Rams tie things up.
Riley nails the free throw at 37 all. It's a 13-2 run for Fordham over the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Polite straight away, guarded by Ohams, ripped away. Loose ball underneath. Riley dives and flips it for Ohams. Rams a chance to take the lead. Across the midline, front court left, 8:20 and ticking second half, 37 all. Fordham and George Mason. The Rams in the midst of a 13-2 run. Straight away, Ohams working on Gaines. Lefty leaner off glass, rolls to the weak side. And it's Jones, the right block rebound. Gaines pushing, front court left, stops left arc. Straight away, Schwartz drawing the double team. Free throw line shut off. The bounce for Cooper, left of the lane drive, straight on Schwartz. Ball fake the three. Back heel and off. Ohams clears for the center of the paint rebound.
And now what they're doing, they're bringing a hard double on Schwartz, George Mason's best player without Oduro, and it's been successful thus far for Fordham.
Mason scoreless in over 3 minutes. The Rams, once again, a chance to take the lead on this possession. Right arc, Ohams with 12 to shoot, working on Gaines. The stop, flips it up, it goes down. Fordham, a 39-37 lead, 7.5 to go in this one. The Rams storming back, it's a 15-2 run. Straight away, Polite. Between the legs dribble. The bounce to a cutting Cooper, lefty leaner, in off the glass, plus the foul. Devon Cooper answers a big-time bucket. Mason knots the score at 39 with a chance to take the lead at the free throw line on the other side of this timeout. Fordham storms back with a 13-2 run to knot it at 39. 7:14 to go in this one. You're listening to Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports.
Chris Hennessy here, reminding you to tune in to our New York Islanders coverage all season long. Follow along for every game as Tyler Mooney and I take you through the historic first season at Belmont Park. On Twitter at WFUV Sports, on the WFUV Sports YouTube page, and wherever you get your podcasts every week on 5 on 3. The New York Islanders here on WFUV Sports.
Fordham 39, George Mason 39. 7:14 to go in the second round matchup in this A-10 tournament from our nation's capital. Fordham fell behind by as many as 11, have stormed back on a 13-2 run to tie it. George Mason a chance to take the lead at the free throw line, but as we've seen all season, Fordham not showing the quit, battling back, and it started with some better shooting.
And it changes so quickly, and we talk about that energy. When you play, that ability, it just comes down to the shots, and they've been able to now shoot it better. The offense is flowing much more efficiently now, obviously, with Oduro in foul trouble on the other end. That plays a huge factor, but Fordham's taken advantage of this, ability now to really attack them, and they've done so to tie this thing up.
Ryan, you touched on it. Fordham has gotten it going offensively, but hard to ignore the seismic shift when Josh Oduro picked up his fourth foul.
And he was the guy when, that first 5 minutes of the half when Fordham was scoreless. George Mason went on that big run. It was all through him. Even when he wasn't scoring the basketball, he was dishing it. 4 assists inside. The offense runs through him. When you play your starters, the amount that they do, and your top guy gets into foul trouble, you have to switch up your identity, something you're not used to doing this late in the year, and we're seeing the repercussions right now.
Oduro, a Mason 10 points to go with 9 rebounds. And And now the question for first-year head coach Kim English: how long do you allow Oduro to sit? And that balance between getting your best player on the floor but protecting him from foul trouble. Rams retake the court. Riley, Kelly, Rose, Charlton, and Oham. Zach Riley, who did not play in the first half, has 6 points in 6 minutes. An and one drive. 3 at the free throw line after being fouled in the far corner, and he has certainly provided a spark for the Rams.
And he's diving on the floor. He's getting after loose balls. He is doing everything in his ability. He's done a great job, cutting this in just 6 minutes, 6 points. His energy has been infectious for this team.
Cooper to the free throw line and sinks it to put Mason back in front, 40-39. 7-10 and ticking remaining in the second half. Charlton straight away, between the legs dribble, guarded by Cooper. Rams looking to set up the offense for their last 5 from the field. Charlton back to the basket, right arc to bounce. Oham's two-handed flush. The dish from Charlton. Oham's wide open, and Fordham a 41-40 lead. 6:45 to go.
And no Oduro down low, a miscommunication for the Patriots. No surprise there. That's what you don't have with him on the court.
Straight on Cooper, far corner Johnson, guarded by Kelly. Johnson with 8 points, straight on 3. Polite is good. Ronald Polite, the catch and shoot. Mason retakes the lead. 43-41, 6:20 to go. Straight on Charlton, wheeling around, right of the lane drive, lays it in off the glass. Easy, too, for Antrell Charlton. He's got 9, and Fordham ties it up again, 43 all, 6 minutes to go.
For him, it's about taking what the defense gives you. They gave him the lane there. He took it and drove for the basket.
Straight away Johnson, polite hesitation, head of the key. Backing away, right arc Johnson, guarded by Kelly. Stop at the free throw line, curling Cooper. Falls to the floor, flip to Johnson, left arc with 5 to shoot. Step through Cooper, stop head of the key, polite the 3. Misses everything, loose ball underneath. Ripped away by Ohams. Solid defensive possession for Fordham that has clamped down on this George Mason offense, playing without their top scorer, Josh Oduro, who's got 4 fouls on the bench. Straight away Riley, waist-high possession, curling Oham's right arc. Guarded by Jones, backing down the shoulder inside, splitting a double team. Going up, the ball will fall to the floor, but a foul called. Oham's working through the double team and the pressure from George Mason, and Chuba Ohams, who has been much more of a factor with Oduro out of the game, headed to the free throw line with a chance to give Fordham the lead.
And the confidence with him is what's impressive to me. Early in this game with the double, he was flustered. He was passing out of it there. He's aggressive. He takes it inside and gets the free throw line.
Oham's off target on the first, back heel and off. Fordham 8 of 12 from the free throw line this afternoon. George Mason has gotten there just twice. Josh Oduro has checked back in with 5:16 remaining in this second half.
There's your answer, Nick.
So Kim English pulls the trigger in this spot. Oham's the second free throw, rattles around and falls in. Fordham in front by 1, 44-43. Ronald Polite into the front court, has 5 points this afternoon. Right arc Hartwell, guarded by Riley on the perimeter. Cooper curling around. Straight away Polite with 15 to shoot. Fordham by 1 in the final 5 minutes. Polite hesitation, rolls it in off the glass plus the foul. Ronald Polite, averaging 7 points a game over his last 4, has been an instant burst off the bench. And George Mason retakes the lead 45-44 at the 4:59 mark. Polite a chance to convert on a 3-point play.
For a team that doesn't go more than 5 deep that they depend on, for Polite to have 7 in this game, just provide them that extra juice off the bench. It's been huge for the Patriots.
Sophomore from Temple Hills, Maryland. Fordham did not see him in the first matchup between these two teams, but have seen him in this second half as he knocks down the free throw to put Mason in front by 2. Kim English will use a timeout. 4:59 to go in the second half. Fordham battling back, but trailing by 2 with George Mason a 46-44 lead. And these two teams have been back and forth. Fordham falling behind by 11 in the early stages of the second half. The 13-2 run to tie it back and forth the rest of the way. And the fascinating element of this is how Mason handles their best player, Josh Aduro, playing with 4 fouls.
So the answer thus far was, I think he gets in that foul trouble around the 9-minute mark. He comes in just 4 minutes later. It's hard, Nick, not to keep him on the floor because we're seeing when he's off, it's a completely new team. Defensive lapses, no offensive identity. Fordham's done a great job capitalizing. I think he's just forcing Kim English's hand. You have to play him here. If he has to play differently down low, so be it. And that's where Fordham, even if he's in the game, attack him. Chuba Ohams, take him inside, because if they're going to call a foul on him, he's done for the day. So this is where, for Fordham, you could really take advantage even when he is on the court.
So your Fordham will go right to Chuba Ohams on this offensive possession, trailing by 2, 46-44. Ohams with a Fordham high, 12 points. High screen, head of the key, Charlton wheeling right of the lane. Easy 2 at the left. Oduro laying off on that switch, and Fordham ties it 46 all. 4:35 and ticking second half. Polite, the behind-the-back dribble, straight on Oduro to a curling Schwartz. Shut off by Rose, drawing the right arc double team. Schwartz along the far sideline. Straight away Polite, off the dribble. Kelly, the fall away. Blocked away, but a foul called. Ronald Polite, the contact to the chest of Kelly. Had it knocked away on the elevation. Fordham, the 6th team foul, and Pat Kelly will pick up his 3rd. And that a tough call seemingly for Fordham.
The aggression of Polite, he's going to take it inside. So it looks like Fordham could have got the call there. Doesn't go the way, but he's someone, when he has the basketball, he's going to look to drive. So Fordham needs to be wary about that and be set down low.
Polite nails the first. George Mason 47, Fordham 46. 4:23 to go in this one. The second is all net. Ronald Polite has 9 points after another trip to the free throw line, and Mason in front by 2, 48-46. Charlton wheeling around, the flip straight on for Rose. Cologne Navarro playing catch with defense from Cooper. 15 on the shot clock. The bounce, far side Ohams. One-on-one with Oduro. Left baseline drive, gets inside. Easy 2 off the glass. Oduro playing off. Ohams the easy deuce, and Fordham knots it at 48 in the final 4 minutes.
That's exactly what we were talking about earlier in this game. If Oduro doesn't have 4 fouls, he is going up strong with the contest, but with the fouls, he's unable to do so, and Ohams takes advantage.
Fordham has hit each of its last 5 shots from the field, backing down Oduro, drawing the double team. Possession poke 3. Last touch by Mason, and Fordham will have possession on the other side of this timeout. The help defense from Kelly forcing the turnover, and Fordham a chance to take the lead on the possession outside of the timeout. Fordham 48, George Mason 48. 3:35 to go in this one. Back to our Rose Hill studios, a one-on-one scoreboard with Tom Quigley.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Plenty of top 25 conference tournament action to get to this afternoon. We'll start in Brooklyn with the ACC tourney. Duke is leading Syracuse 62-60. This following Syracuse's 96-57 blowout of Florida State yesterday afternoon. In the Big East tournament, Butler is on top of Providence 49-45 with 11 minutes left in that second half. And in the Big 12 Conference tournament, we've got a Texas showdown between Texas and TCU. The Longhorns lead that one 42-28 with 17 minutes left in the second half. Let's check in on some results from last night. The 40th straight Big East tournament hosted at Madison Square Garden began yesterday with Butler taking down Xavier 89-82. The local squad, St. John's, took care of business over DePaul with a 92-73 final. And the Seton Hall Pirates eked out a 57-53 victory over the defending champion Georgetown Hoyas. Transitioning Burroughs here to the ACC tournament at the Barclays Center. Virginia narrowly snuck by Louisville with a 51-50 final score, and a couple OT thrillers resulted in an 82-77 win for BC over Wake Forest and a 76-75 comeback victory for Virginia Tech over the Clemson Tigers. And now let's get to a headline in the NFL. The Washington Commanders are expected to release safety Landon Collins in what is appearing to be a salary cap move. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Tom Quigley.
.335 mark of the second half. Fordham and George Mason with a spot in the A-10 quarterfinal on the line, knotted at 48-48. The Rams, after falling behind by 11 in the opening stages of the second half, battled back with a 13-2 run to tie it back and forth the rest of the way down the stretch in the 8 and 9 game. George Mason's leading scorer, Josh Oduro, with 10 today. The top scorer in the Atlantic 10, missing a portion of this second half due to foul trouble playing with the 4. And Fordham looking to take advantage. Chuba Ohams and Antrell Charlton have combined for 25 of the Fordham 48 points. Ohams playing with just the 1 foul. Kelly and Charlton with 3. The Rams with 6. George Mason with 6. 2 timeouts apiece in the final 3:35. And anyone's battle to try and advance.
And those two guys you just brought up, Ohams and Charlton, they're getting it going in this half by taking it inside. Whether Oduro is in there playing cautious or not, it's how this team can swing this game.
Straight on Rose, guarded by Schwartz. Cologne Navarro right arc. The right block float for Ohams, working on Oduro, one-on-one, shoulder shake, flips it up, left rim off, baseline loose ball ripped away by Oduro. The defense holds up on the interior that time. Schwartz straight away, Oduro roaming left arc, 3 minutes to go, 48-48, Fordham and George Mason. Oduro roaming right arc, curling straight away. Polite left arc, defended by Kelly. Left elbow jumper, front rim and off. Loose ball, fought for by Oduro. Saves it right into the arms of Ohams. Rams with numbers if they hurry. Stop left elbow for Cologne Navarro. Far corner pass Rose, straight on Charlton, and the Rams will slow it down. Antrell Charlton with 11 points this afternoon, 5 of 11 from the field. Floats for Ohams. The left block goes up, lost the handle. Underneath the basket, loose ball for Devontae Gaines. Gaines across the midline, left arc Polite, 48 all in the final 2:15 of the second half. Straight away Oduro playing with the foul trouble. Right arc Schwartz, shut off by Charlton with 10 to shoot. Oduro drawing the double team, a hand on the back, and a foul called on Fordham. Chuba Ohams will pick up his second. It's Fordham's 7th, and that will send Oduro to the free throw line with George Mason in the bonus. Mason scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 17 seconds. But a chance to take the lead here.
And now being in the bonus, this has to switch up how you play defense if you're Fordham, because you saw them bring the double. When you play aggressive like that, it worked a few possessions ago when they get the turnover. But now if you're going to play like that, you get the foul to go against you. You're giving a team who struggled so much shooting free chances at the line, and they're only 4 for 5 in the second half. But you figure if you're going to give them opportunities, that's where they're going to be able to get their opportunities to score in this one.
Oduro, a 71% free throw shooter, who's being attended to in front of the George Mason bench to the far side of the scorer's table. The training staff with him, trying to make sure that he is all set for the final 2:06 of this second half. Fordham and George Mason knotted at 48. As the Rams have surged back in this second half, scoring Mason by 3, 29-26 after the Patriots had the first 8 points of the opening half. Oduro in front of the George Mason bench. getting the okay from the training staff ahead of the 2 free throws. And Fordham set to go out of the timeout onto the floor. Kyle Rose, Cologne Navarro, Kelly, Ohams, and Charlton, the 5 out of the timeout.
Nick, you go back to last time when they played George Mason. We've talked about how they went 450 without a bucket. A lot of that was stopping Oduro 0 for 4 with the turnover in those final 4 minutes. So Fordham has experience guarding him in the spot. You expect with the foul trouble, he'll be playing even less aggressively than he did last time out, which goes in the Rams' favor.
Oduro with 10 points, 10 rebounds on 5 of 9 from the field today. His first. Front rim and off, clear for the underneath the basket rebound, Ohams. The game remains tied in the final 2 minutes. Fordham 48, George Mason 48, with a trip to the A-10 quarterfinal on the line. Charlton head of the key stop, right elbow. Pulls up, the float for Ohams. The triple team comes, muscles through, rolls it off, but a foul called. Ohams very nearly the and one bucket through a triple team on that left block. But Chuba Ohams headed to the free throw line with a chance to give Fordham a lead in the final 150.
How about the angling of Chuba Ohams right there? With, the 3 guys tight right on him, he's able to position his body where he has an opportunity for an and one. The fact that he even got a shot off is impressive, but he had a chance to make it a 3-point play. Instead, he'll go to the line for 2.
Ohams a couple of bounces, bends the knees, flips up the first. It's good. Chuba Ohams, who has been on a tear to close out the regular season with 14 and 13 today. Has been so crucial to this Fordham success. Ready to go with the second. Back heel, and it falls in. Would have had another lane violation anyway. Ohams to 16 points, 13 rebounds, and Fordham a 50-48 lead. 1:40 to go in this one. Ronald Polite up top, guarded by Kelly. Left arc bounce for Deshaun Schwartz. Float inside, knocked away. Kelly out through the baseline. Last touch by Fordham. Mason keeps it with 15 on the shot clock. 1:34 to go in the game. Fordham by 2, 50-48.
That's how Fordham's going to defend here, bringing the double. Don't let Oduro get anything in the paint, so a good job by Pat Kelly just swatting that away.
Left of the basket float for Oduro. On the block, drawing the double team. Ball fake, muscles through. No basket. And a foul called on the yank by Antrell Charlton, who picks up his 4th. It's Fordham's 8th, and we'll send Oduro to the free throw line once again, with Mason in the bonus. A 1-and-1 coming for the 71% free throw shooter. Oduro missed the front end the last time at the stripe. His first is good. Josh Oduro to 11 points, playing with the 4 fouls, and cuts the Fordham lead to 1.
Well, now the foul trouble game, Nick, goes both ways, because you have Antrell Charlton, who brings the double with 4. He's not going to be able to play as tight defense as he was before.
Oduro's second. In and out. Charlton clears for the underneath the basket rebound. Fordham a 1-point lead and the basketball. Final 90 seconds, 50-49. Straightaway Charlton across the midline stripe. Right arc 3, Cologne Navarro. Front rim and off, underneath the basket rebound, Deshaun Schwartz. A golden opportunity. Cologne Navarro couldn't hit. Curling around, Devontae Gaines, Polite head of the key, right of the lane drive, working on Kelly. The final minute, Fordham by 1. Polite right arc, and a timeout called by Kim English, with the George Mason possession not developing the way he wanted to. 16 on the shot clock. 59.9 seconds remaining on the game clock, and Fordham a 1-point lead. Down the stretch they go. Fordham, no field goals in the last 3 minutes. George Mason, no field goals in the last 4. The defense is doing everything in their power to will these two teams onto the next round.
Here we go, Nick. I mean, this couldn't be more of a carbon copy than the last game. It really can't. We know, George Mason had that stretch of 5 minutes without scoring. That's what it would be in this one. If they don't score the rest of this one, the defense, the free throw line, I think that's where it's going to become huge in this one with guys, with the teams in the bonus, with guys with 4 fouls, the whistles that go against them. Whichever team has the opportunity to take advantage, I think is going to come out successful in this one. But what a game we've seen thus far.
George Mason locked in a tight battle down the stretch. The Patriots 345th out of 358 Division I teams in the luck statistic on the season, and have struggled in these types of games during the regular season. Just 4-9 in games decided by 5 points or fewer, including a couple down the stretch to end the regular season. Fordham, a 50-49 lead. Mason with the basketball, 16 on the shot clock in the final minute of this second round matchup. Josh Oduro playing with 4 fouls. Antrell Charlton playing with 4 for Fordham. Charlton, Rose, Kelly, Ohams. And Zach Riley, the 5 on the floor for the Rams out of the timeout. The float into the backcourt for Polite, who will walk it back across the midline with 12 on the shot clock. Attacking Kelly, right of the lane drive, left it short. Loose ball ripped away by Ohams, far corner. Fordham got the stop, and now the basketball with a 1-point lead. 42 seconds remaining. Fordham 50, George Mason 49. Charlton head of the key. Bounce right arc for Ohams. Working on Oduro. Left of the lane. Bowls him over. Easy 2. Fordham a 3-point lead. 52-49 across the midline stripe. Polite. And a timeout called by Kim English. No call on the contact, and Fordham a 3-point lead.
And now you have an opportunity here. Do you foul up 3? Do you get creative here? George Mason still with plenty of time, but these last few sequences, Fordham forcing Polite, the least experienced guy, least established guy on the floor to a contested driving shot. Then Chuba Ohams. Who else could it be for Fordham? Nick taking it over Oduro, bowling him over there, and getting the basket go. Fordham now up 3, has a chance here to come away with the W.
Ohams with 18 and 14. And looking like a guy who does not want to see his college career come to an end. 28.7 seconds remaining in the second half. A 1.5 second differential between the shot and the game clock, with Fordham leading by 3, 52-49. George Mason and Kim English drawing up what they want to do out of this timeout. A chance to tie it up. As Fordham looks for that defensive stand to advance to tomorrow. Deshaun Schwartz, the float into the backcourt for Polite. 10 points this afternoon. Right arc roam, Riley to defense, right of the lane drive, flips it up, rolls off. Ohams underneath the basket, rebound. A jump ball ruled. The possession arrow with Fordham. They'll have possession with the shot clock turned off. 19.7 to go. A big stop. Fordham seemingly willing to give Polite the easy 2. He didn't hit it.
2 straight possessions there, but that one right onto the basket. Easy opportunity for Polite. Unable to get it to go with Chuba Ohams. Yet again, his 12th defensive rebound. Grabbing that one. They call it jump ball. It doesn't matter. Fordham has the possession arrow. Now you really have a chance to put this in your grasp if you're Fordham.
Mason without a field goal in approaching 5 minutes down the stretch. A left of the goal inbound for Antrell Charlton, who will motion for a timeout on the baseline. Couldn't find an outlet, and with 19.7 to go, again, the shot clock turned off. Fordham with a 3-point lead and the ball, 52-49. As they look to close out a tightly contested second round A-10 meeting with George Mason, and the defense carrying them and getting the buckets where they need them.
And, they did a great job of keeping this team in it when the offense couldn't do anything. Now that the offense figured out a little bit, especially Chuba Owens having a huge second half, the defense has stayed there all throughout. You have to give them credit because it wasn't one or the other in the second half. They put it together. It was a complete team effort here, and now you have a chance. I know the free throw line late in games hasn't been the best for this team, but they do have a chance, if they're able to hit them, to leave this one with a win and advance to the next round.
Survive and advance, the name of the game. 73% for Fordham as a team on the season. George Mason shooting it at 70% with free throws in the final 20 seconds like gold. Charlton, the left of the goal, inbound. The float for Rose underneath the basket. Double team comes, rips away possession. Bounce Charlton near side with 14 on the clock and 13. Float ahead for Kelly right arc, who is fouled by Cooper with a swipe to the shoulder. And Pat Kelly, a guy who has been one of the better shooters for Fordham this entire season, he's not gotten to the free throw line all year. This is first attempt, and that's a heck of a time to take him.
What a time. 9 seconds left, A-10 tournament up 3. I mean, is there any other time? Pat Kelly, he's had a great game thus far, drilling 3 threes, but now it all comes down to these free throws.
52-49, the first free throw. Kelly in and out. Mason a chance with 8 seconds and 5 gains. Speeding across the midline, a swipe and a foul called. The float by Gaines ended up going in from 27 feet. The foul well on the floor by Pat Kelly, who picks up his 4th. It's Fordham's 9th, so George Mason shooting 1-1. Again, Fordham showing that they will foul up 3 late. And Devontae Gaines, who has not had much of anything going, no points on 0 of 7 from the field today. A chance to cut it to 1. 6.7 seconds remaining. Gaines, a couple of bounces. The bend of the knee, lefty first. Back heel and off. Oham's the right block rebound. 5.7 to go. The immediate foul comes from Blake Jones, and Fordham once again an opportunity to ice it. It's the 8th for George Mason. Oham shooting 1-1.
And you get another crack at it here, and Oham's over his last 6 games, shooting 76% from the free throw line, so he's came to his own a bit from this spot. And for Fordham, the way as he's put this team on their back in the second half, it's fitting that the free throw line comes down to him.
18 points and 16 rebounds for the guy that has been a monster down the stretch for the Rams. And Oham's a chance to ice this away at the free throw line. Shooting 1-1. Fordham by 3, 52-49. Bends the knees in the first. Front rim, it rolls in. Oham's to 19. Fordham a 2-possession lead. 53-49. 5.7 to go. Couple of bounces for Oham's. The deep breath. Bend to the knees. His second is good. 54-49, final 5 seconds. Polite, the long 3. Doesn't matter, and you can party like it's 2007. Fordham advances to the A-10 quarterfinal. Fordham 54, George Mason 49. The Rams surge late, advances them to the quarterfinals.
The way this team, again versus George Mason, no field goals the last 5 minutes, again for the Patriots, was able to come together in this second half defensively, figured out enough offensively and advance. You can't say enough about the no quit in this team.
The A-10 quarterfinal for the first time since 2007, as Fordham's season is not done yet. A masterpiece on defense in the final 5 minutes. George Mason held without a field goal, and the Rams will match up with Davidson tomorrow, right back here at Capital One Arena at noon, as their season will live on for another day. Rams head to the locker room as the one-on-one post-game report begins here courtside. Fordham knew it was going to be a back-and-forth affair. George Mason, a team that played them tough. Rams playing without Darius Quisenberry in that second half. didn't look great early. They fall behind by as many as 11, and yet somehow, some way, Fordham finds a way into the quarterfinal.
What has this team been about all year, Nick? It's defense. It starts and ends with defense. They never wavered from that game plan. They didn't try to switch it up. When George Mason goes on that run, Oduro with a quick 6 points to start the second half, it could have been easy to try to switch up their game plan, but they didn't do so. They've relied on what has got them to this point all year, and we've talked about it. Chuba Oham, 16 second half points. His Fordham career, the season of his career, continues on. He would not let Fordham lose this game down the stretch, and Fordham did just enough to end the Patriots season.
A battle of two of the best big men in the entire conference. Chuba Ohams wins it, and the game totally flipped when Josh Oduro picked up his 4th foul.
It completely changed the whole complexion of this game. The interior presence of Oduro, the ball movement, the rebounding, just the pressure that he takes off other guys. They miss it desperately. We talk about them being 351 in the country in bench minutes. What kind of factor that plays when you get in foul trouble? We saw it on display. They were a lost team. They could not figure out how to run their offense. Their defense had a ton of lapses down low. Fordham saw that even when he was back in the game. They took advantage, attacking him, knowing he couldn't pick up that foul number 5.
And for the Rams, when the offense really struggled in that first half without Chuba Ohams, they needed some other guys to step up. Pat Kelly and Antrell Charlton combined for 20, and that was the difference in the game. Fordham needed some of that secondary scoring.
We haven't seen that all year. And with Darius Quisenberry, he ended this game 21 minutes, 0 points. So you needed those guys off the bench. Pat Kelly in particular drilling 3 threes. Antrell Charlton bailed him out in the first half a lot, was able to drive to the basket in the second half. It couldn't have been just OAMs, and it wasn't here today.
The Rams survive and advance thanks to a strong second half. Chuba Ohams, a game-high 20 points to go with 16 rebounds as he continues to surge down the stretch. Charlton with 11, Kelly with 9 as Fordham slams the door shut on George Mason's season and advance to the quarterfinal to take on Davidson tomorrow afternoon. Ryan Gregware will give you the final word here as we wrap things up. Fordham, the season lives on another day.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Urgo following the win versus George Washington. He said, we're 0-0, why not us? Well, now you're 1-0, why not us, right? That's what it's about. It's survive and advance. You beat George Mason. It's a quick turnaround. Obviously, you're facing the number 1 team in the A-10 tomorrow. The task isn't going to be easy, but this team, we know that we focus, and we know they're going to bring the energy.
That should just about wrap it up for us from Capital One Arena. Fordham keeps the season moving. The final score, the Rams 54, George Mason 49. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. Mike Messina was our on-site producer. Alex Wolz and Thomas Quigley helping us out in our Rose Hill studios. The Rams back in action tomorrow afternoon, right back here at Capital One Arena as they take on Davidson in the 1-8 matchup. Tip-off at noon with the one-on-one pregame report coming your way at 11:55. Until next time, for my partner Ryan Gregware, I'm Nick DeLuca. Thanks for hanging out with us. Fordham Basketball, a production of WFUV Sports.